Lauren Dowden for Conduit News, and today we have Arkansas Attorney General Tim Griffin joining us to talk about a wide variety of things, everything from approving constitutional amendments to Christmas. We're going to talk about a wide variety of things. What?
Legos.
Legos, shopping, everything. Hi, Attorney General. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Off camera, we were talking about Christmas, and I had said this was the first year that I've actually gotten all of my Christmas shopping done ahead of time, and I'm feeling rather productive this year.
Well, fortunately, we share those responsibilities in my home. My wife is amazing. She's done a lot of that. I've got to do a little bit, but you know, with the internet and gift cards that I can get at my grocery store and different things like that, it's pretty easy to get done quickly.
It is. It's really nice. Well, listen, your office is so busy. I want to talk about an alert that we got yesterday about some communist China companies, but also just some constitutional amendments that your office has been working on. Recently was the Freedom of Information Act. Walk us through the process. It's garnered a lot of attention lately. Talk to us about the process that your office goes through when receiving those proposals.
Yeah, so it's really important to point out that the process of going through the Attorney General's office is approximately 80 years old. So this is not new. There's about a 3-year period where that was shifted over to the Board of Elections. But generally speaking, this process has been around for a long time. In fact, there are a lot of attorneys in town who are quite familiar with this process, even though sometimes in the press they act like they're shocked that the first submission was rejected. So I think some context is important. We can't find any instance where the first proposal, which most of the ones I've rejected thus far are on the first try, right? We can't find an instance where the first proposal, the first time, the first try was accepted. It is well known among the attorneys who practice in this area that almost no one ever gets it right the first time. In fact, the attorney that's been hired by the FOIA group, he has the record for rejections. Now, he acts like this rejection the first time was some shock, but I have a list here. He's been rejected about 38 times in the last decade and a half. He knows that there's some rigor and that it's a back and forth. And so that's been the process for a long time. That's not a Tim Griffin thing. That's the way it's been. Now, why do we have such rigor? Because we should. We're going around the legislature, which generally is the lawmaking body. We're going around the governor. We're going directly to the public. So my job, according to the law, is to ensure that the proposal is not misleading. Now, there are other standards that the Supreme Court can apply and reject a proposal for ultimately if it gets there. But my job is to look at misleading. They will look also at length and complexity, but my focus is on misleading. So here's the way it works. The idea that, you mentioned that, I have opinions. When we were talking off camera, I think I might have opinions on this proposal, that proposal. I certainly do. But like when I'm in the Army, there are certain things that I can do and can't do. I wear a hat in this job, and it's a different hat than other jobs that I've had. It's a different hat than being in Congress, where you can just go on and talk about whatever you want and not worry about whether you're stepping on the legal process. I wear a legal, first and foremost, yeah, I'm elected, but first and foremost, I wear a legal hat. And so I set aside my personal views. And in any event, my personal views aren't particularly relevant once you understand how the process works. So I have a Deputy Attorney General, Ryan Owsley, who has served numerous attorneys general. And so when someone submits a proposal, and I've gone over this numerous times on my social media, et cetera, did it on Arkansas Week last week. So when a proposal comes in, usually either probably on the second floor, we have a window there, and it comes in, and the person at the desk gets it. They know, take that to Ryan Owsley. So I don't see it. It goes directly to the professionals in the opinions, and now we're renaming it Opinions and FOIA Division. It goes there, and they begin their process. They do in-depth legal research, and they don't call me and say, what do you think about this? How do you want this to go? Nonsense. In fact, I don't even see the opinion on a proposal. And this applies to opinions generally, not just ballot measures or constitutional proposals. But I don't even see the analysis until it's gone all the way through the staff. And I'm the last person to see it. And then I look at it and I say, approved or disapproved. I've never disapproved one of them. I don't even think I've ever made a change to the ones that have been brought to me. So I look at them to make sure they make sense to me, to make sure written well, to make sure that I don't see anything problematic. And then that's it. Mm-hmm. So there's no micromanaging. And I would point out, yeah, some people get frustrated. Usually the people who are frustrated are the ones that are getting rejected. That's understandable. Mm-hmm. That's politics. But let me say this, the Democrat Gazette, just in the last week, on the same exact page that one of your frequent guests has a column, on that same page, they 3 times have praised the work of my office. And on the FOIA one, they said, clean it up, get on democracy. And that was a couple of days ago. So look, this is a process. I understand that people get frustrated. I understand it makes people mad, but that's not really relevant to my job. My job is about the law. And and if you'll look today on the front page of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, which I know some people read, is a big article about me defending FOIA. So my view on a particular proposal, I rejected one on abortion, on ballots, on FOIA, on car license tags. I've rejected that one twice, I believe. Look, this is part of the process. And it's back and forth. People shouldn't see it as the first time I ever practice shooting, I'm going to hit the target in the middle. No, it's a process. You gotta work with us and follow the law. And it can be frustrating, no question.
In the opinion, and I think this was some commentary that I saw in that group that you referenced a few minutes ago. In the opinion, you said that this was a partisan issue, and the group said that they were perplexed by that.
Well, they didn't read the. Yeah, I could comment. I could comment on that. I won't get into the details of the opinion because I still consider this a pending. They have another proposal before us, and I assume they'll come back. But that phraseology, first of all, they didn't read it if that's what they said, because that's not what I said. Number one, can you give me the opinion? I'll read it exactly what I said. But that's actually taken from a Supreme Court case.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean that transparency and having open government is a partisan issue, which is the way they wanted to portray it. But see, I don't have the liberty of just getting on and saying whatever I want because I follow the law. If you're not in my position, if you're on the political side, you're not a lawyer for the state, You can say whatever you want, and most people do. You know, look, I heard your frequent guest say yesterday that government is run by plutocrats. Well, that's ridiculous, because I don't think he knows what plutocrat is. Plutocrats are people that came to power as a result of their wealth. There are a lot of problems with state government, but it's not that the people I know in state government are so abundantly wealthy. That's just attack whoever you want, but get it right. Just be accurate. Here's the quote. If I can find my glasses here. Yeah. So what it said is, as one of my predecessors concluded in opinion number 2012-028, and all I'm doing here is reading from the opinion, which is fine. The use of the term transparency in a popular name, quote, I'm quoting, has an obvious positive ring to it, end quote, that seems more designed to persuade than inform. This raises a concern about a partisan coloring. There is no indication that anybody thinks that open government is a partisan issue. That's not what anyone said. And the next question just says, I'm flagging this for you now in case you would like to provide an alternative in a future submission. I would just say this, the opinion speaks for itself, but it would be helpful if people actually read the opinion and didn't mischaracterize the opinion, number one. And number two, if people spend as much time getting their proposal right as they do going on the air, I think it would be more productive. People could say what they want, but listen, we're going to continue to follow the law. If they get it right on the second time, great. If they don't, we'll reject it again. Again, the attorney that's been hired for this has the record, I think, over 38 rejections. He's extremely familiar with this process. He's the record holder. He knows what the process, how it works, and he knows that when it's rejected, it's not personal, and he also knows that it's not the end of the line. I actually think that this power sitting in the Attorney General's office, as opposed to where it was for a 3-year interlude, is exactly where it ought to sit. I think that it's proper, and it does not bother me one bit to see the people that propose get frustrated, because when you have fair and objective people like the editorial page of the Democrat Gazette and others saying, look, we love FOIA, but it's got to be written better. Hey, ballot measure was rejected, but then again, so was abortion. It's not about the topic. It's about getting it right.
So what would you say to those people who have said that this has been politicized in some way?
There's no evidence of that. It's completely false. And I've already explained that.
Yeah.
How is it being politicized when I don't even see it till it's done?
Yeah.
How's it being politicized if it just makes it's easy to say that a cat is a dog, but it doesn't make it a dog. So
let's talk about the process. You have received criticism from both the left and the right about the process and how long it takes at times. I know that when there was the group against Learns, remind me again, I believe it's 10 days that your office has to return the proposal, your opinion. Is that correct?
Yes. So how could that? We're following the law. I mean,
right. Well, so my question is, the office receives criticism from the left and the right that at times it takes a max number of days on returning the opinion as a means of dragging time out. So that maybe, you take the 10 days.
That's a great question that also shows that some context is needed here.
Okay.
So the response to a proposal is effectively an opinion. That's how we express it out of this office. Just so you know, the average opinion, okay, this office, before I got here, issued approximately 3 opinions last calendar year. As of this morning, we're at 99. Okay, that's 3 times more than last year. 33 times 3, 99. So that's the overall lay of the land. It is on average taking approximately 1 month on average from the time someone requests an opinion to get that opinion out. If you look at it on average. But because we have some opinions that were requested before I got here. But the bottom line is this is 10 days. This is a greatly compressed schedule. Now, if we were baking a cake, 10 days would be plenty of time. If we were tying our shoestrings, plenty of time. Washing a load of clothes, plenty of time. Maybe even, mowing the lawn. But that's not what we're doing. We are researching in depth an issue. And remember, the whole office doesn't shut down when a proposal comes in that's a ballot measure. We will have numerous ballot measures pending at any one time. And we have lots of other opinions from legislators about county taxes, about gun laws, about whatever. So we don't shut down the building and put everybody on this one deal. We got other things going on. Look, if the legislature wants to provide more opinion attorneys, that's up to them. But 10 days is actually a very compressed time frame for the in-depth research that we're doing. And in most cases, I would propose to you, Jenny, that the individuals proposing these, hopefully they spent more than 10 days working on their proposal.
You mentioned the legislature. A lot of times we've heard criticism about bill titles that sometimes they are not always accurate. They can be deceptive at times. They get criticized for their titles. Do you think, and for the groups that submit to your office, they go through such a rigorous process for their titles. In your opinion, do you think there is anything that the General Assembly could do, possibly limit themselves to a review because there's such a concern there, that maybe there's just kind of an imbalance there for what the people have to submit versus what the General Assembly does?
Well, you're criticizing without a lot of specifics, but here's what I would say. I'm focused on following the law. The legislature's in charge of that. They're a separate branch of government. Yeah. I have a role. That's not my role. My role is to follow the law on these issues, and that's what I do.
All right, let's talk about a few other things before I let you go. You've been generous with your time. A few other things that your office is doing. We mentioned the Communist China companies. 2 were mentioned in the press release yesterday. Walk us through that. I'm sure that you remember this is something that Conduit has been covering for years. So when we got the press release from Governor Sanders yesterday, it was a welcomed press release. Talk to us about what you and the governor are working on right now.
Sure. So just to be clear, under current law, under Arkansas law, there is no blanket prohibition on crypto mines. We know that. Yeah. If individuals, if your viewers want that, that's up to the legislature and the governor. So again, I've got to follow the law. But we do have a law that relates to foreign ownership of property. So yesterday we got 2 referrals from the Secretary of Agriculture about potentially foreign held companies, right? One of them is Jones Digital. We already knew about Jones Digital, had Jones Digital on a list of companies that so we were aware of that. The other was a reservoir, machinery. And but that one is not related to crypto mines. So the issue, as the law currently states, is about ownership and control, not about the type of industry they're in. And I think that's really important, because a lot of people will reach out and say, thanks for stopping crypto mines or what have you. And the law does not allow the target. For me, the law that applies to me does not allow the targeting of crypto mines because they're crypto mines.
Right.
It has to do with ownership. So I won't get into all the details, but I'll just say that we've been tracking this for a while. We've got approximately 25 different potential crypto mining operations that we are looking into. We also are looking into some non-crypto mine companies. One of them I just mentioned that was forwarded over yesterday, receiver machinery. And I would just say that we also have met with other authorities outside state government, federal authorities about this issue. So I'll just leave it at that. We are very engaged on this issue. I've already taken action, as I think you know, on Syngenta. Now that was a little more complex than this, but it's because there was a filing issue under a 2020 law where they had not disclosed their ownership at the appropriate time. And so I levied the maximum fine of $280,000, and we have received that check, and it is in the coffers of the state of Arkansas. But they're not a crypto mining company. That was not the issue. Right. The issue there in the 363 was foreign control and ownership. So right. I'll leave it at that, but I will tell you that we're very engaged on this issue. We get information from the Secretary of Agriculture. We get information from state reps. We get information from state senators. We receive it from the public. We are always welcoming information. As you know, some information is true, some information is not. It's my responsibility to separate the wheat from the chaff, to make sure that we know what is factual and what is merely rumor, because obviously we're not going to act on anything until we know the facts 100%. That's my obligation as the state's attorney.
Well, thank you so much. Again, as I mentioned, this is something Conduit has covered for years, Communist China operations and connections to Arkansas. And so we are certainly encouraged by this. Anything else that you want to add before we let you go?
Appreciate you having me on. Would love to come on in the future.
Absolutely. We'd like that too.
After I do my Christmas shopping.
Same. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.